Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Entertainment Expansion. We're your host, Tyler Callahan and Mike Ferrante. Mike, how you doing this week?
Well, Tyler, I can say I'm peacefully chilling. How about yourself?
I'm trying to keep the peace the best I can.
There you go.
And I do think, after watching an entire season of Peacemaker, I do want to taste, terrible joke to start off the podcast. Excuse me for my poor comedy. Was a reference to I think what's going to stand out the test of time now for the next few years, the opening credits for a TV show.
Yes.
But before we get into all that, we are talking obviously about season 1 now of Peacemaker, since there is a season 2 coming. Full spoilers. Mike, I think it's fair to say you and I, based on the trails alone, we're kind of like iffy on if James Gunn could bring it to do a full TV show. But I got to say, before we get into spoilers, he fucking killed it.
Oh, he absolutely did. I mean, honestly, with the trailers, I really couldn't give a shit about this show.
It looked okay, but it wasn't like, because Suicide Squad was amazing. I see the trailer for Peacemaker, like, it's all right.
Yeah, but it turned out to be pretty fucking good. Like, I was unexpecting how well John Cena did in this role. Like his
best role today. Just, I mean, that's it.
Yeah, hands down his best role.
Actually, can I just? I'm just gonna say this right now. Clearly, after Peacemaker, both him and Batista are better actors than The Rock.
Yeah.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I'm gonna have to say it. Acting prowess, yes. The Rock's an entertainer. Like he's
the bigger star. But the amount of layers John Cena put in this character, put in the work.
Absolutely. Like he's really trying to show his range that he can do the whole acting thing, and that's what Dave Bautista was having some trouble with as well, because everyone just wanted to cast him as just a big muscle guy. But I mean, there were very standout performances throughout the show. I mean, Vigilante was fucking hysterical.
Yes.
The banter between him and John Cena, like it did get overbearing at times. I'm not gonna lie,
but I think that's par for the course for the character. Like,
correct.
Yeah.
Like, out of context, you can be like, all right, yeah, I get it, but that's kind of fucking Peacemaker is kind of an overbearing character.
Yeah, I mean, I think at first I thought not Peacemaker, but Vigilante was a little annoying. But as the show went on, it was more of like endearing, I felt. But I thought, I think one good thing James Gunn has done with the show, and since I think he wrote the entire script at the beginning of the pandemic, so he had time to just write this all out. I don't think for the main characters there was no weak link. You could go into the side characters, like Abadiah's wife is kind of a weak link, but she's not really a main character. She's barely in the show. But the main team, the main group, they all had their part to play. They did great. And I think each gets their, like, at least, I mean, obviously Peacemaker gets more, but the rest of the team, they have at least one or two standout moments throughout the entire show, which is good.
Yeah, Economos with the fucking butterfly infected gorilla.
Chopping up with the chainsaw. Yeah,
where he jumps in with the P90 and just starts mowing down fucking neo-Nazis.
He's a stud.
Yeah, I mean, since we're kind of on the neo-Nazi thing, if you guys don't know, Peacemaker's dad is, what was it, the Red Dragon?
White Dragon.
White Dragon, sorry.
Yes.
And basically, all he is a racist Iron Man. That's kind of it.
He basically is, yeah. With an interdimensional laboratory inside of his closet.
Yeah,
of his one-story house.
They don't explain that at all, and that's something I kind of want to know. Like, how did this man get this?
Like, he has a portal that where a laboratory where he builds helmets for Peacemaker, and
just for fun.
Just for to beat up minorities, as Peacemaker says. But it's like what if he wanted to move houses? Move across the state or move to a different state?
I feel like he could bring that with him.
Like, but do you take the whole closet with him? Or how does that work? Do you haul the closet into the new house?
No. Because is it the closet or is it some kind of tech that makes it that?
The only thing we see is that there's a secure keypad that then opens up the door to it. But I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, it doesn't matter now. He's dead, but...
Well, yeah. Who do you leave his house to? Is it Peacemaker?
You think? Knowing him, he would leave it to his dead son as a fuck you to Peacemaker.
I guess.
That is something he would do.
I mean, he was a real shitty character.
But he played his role perfectly. I mean,
Oh, he did.
yeah,
The butterflies was definitely an interesting take. I mean, this was a very stylized TV show as well.
yeah, yeah. I mean,
Um,
definitely in the vein
like
of like the Suicide Squad, just with a slightly lower budget. But like you like definitely the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker like exist in the same universe. Like with style of
correct.
action, the jokes, it all fits. It's not like while it's technically the same universe, when I think of Peacemaker, the show, I don't think of Man of Steel in the same setting. You know what I mean? Like there's a starker difference.
Well, he was there.
No, he was no. I mean, like I know they're in the same universe, but like when I think of like the style and action and like the cinematography of Peacemaker, Suicide
Yeah,
Squad, I
well,
don't think,
of course.
oh wow, Man of Steel and Wonder Woman are like the same thing, huh? Which
Yeah, it was definitely a different tone.
yeah, which it worked for the show. Like this worked basically
It
being like
definitely
a joke a
it
minute kind of
definitely
show.
does. I wonder if Warner Bros. Is going to go more into that direction now because
Hmm.
they're definitely seeing success on Suicide Squad and
Yep.
they're currently seeing it with Peacemaker. So right now, it seems like James Gunn is John Favreau the
I
MCU.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna hold. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no. Maybe to the DCEU as a whole, they will lighten it up a bit from compared to Zack Snyder. But Warner Brothers is not. Let me rephrase that. Warner Brothers usually is not that stupid. I think they see that there's money to be made in both markets. So the
Yeah,
main
I think they're going to
DCEU,
separate it.
well, what I'm pointing to is like the main DCU meant for everyone will be a little lighter in tone, like the MCU, but they will have their darker stuff. The Joker, they already had
The
that billion-dollar
Batman.
movie without China. The Batman, there was a lot of rumors going into its release, and we're 2 weeks out now. That will they cut down the film? It's almost 3 hours. People say it's dark, but the test screenings are off the charts. They kept it is almost a 3 hour Batman film. They are confident enough in this product, even if it's very a dark story, that they're
Yep.
releasing it, and the hype is through the roof. So if they
Yeah,
see a
I
billion
mean,
dollars with that, I just saw an interview today from director Matt Reeves. He said the sequel's already in early development. So Warner
yep.
Brothers,
They're
I think
clearly a fan of it. I
they're
mean,
clearly a fan of it. I mean, they're doing
from
two
the
HBO
trailers,
shows
man.
based off of it.
Yeah, from the trailers, clearly,
Mhm.
like I don't know, like I don't think this movie can be bad, but we're getting to a little
Yeah,
bit of a
I
tangent
just think that
here.
Warner Brothers will
We'll be
take dark
talking about the
risks.
Batman
Yeah,
soon enough.
and but I
But
don't think they got to be careful though, because there's a very much James Gunn style of comedy. Not everyone can do
right,
James Gunn style comedy. I would say a valid concern for us would be they hire someone who's not James Gunn to do. We want you to do James Gunn comedy, and it goes terrible.
yeah, well, because I don't think it will work because he's kind of one of those unique directors,
Exactly.
and it really shows, and it pretty much works in his benefit, especially with like superhero stuff. It fits. You know what I mean?
It really does show me how constrained he is with Guardians.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. This show is you could say profanity is used in the highest fucking degree.
Uh huh.
Um and he goes to some dark places, you know. Stellar
Racist
shout out to,
places, dark
oh
places.
very shout out to Aquaman fucks fish. You heard it first here.
Hey,
Well,
that's
if you
canon.
watch Peacemaker, you heard it first there.
Fuck you, Barry.
Um yeah, you literally have Aquaman saying "fuck you" to Barry. Unfortunately, Netflix still has the rights to Henry Cavill's face, so we just get a suit cameo and a shadow camo or cameo from Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about Justice League. Unlike Disney Plus, which does not have the balls to have like no offense to Hawkeye, but like top tier Avengers show up. DC did it on their first show.
It's true.
Now it was just for a cameo. It was literally 30 seconds, but hey, it connected the universe, and what worked is it paid off the joke. It paid off the joke set in the very first few minutes of the show, where John Cena just goes on a rant about how Aquaman fucks fish.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
and
I
that
thought the cameo
Superman
was
sent the
great.
butt stuff.
Yeah, but I also think that shows how much trust Warner Brothers has with James Gunn, because like Aquaman, at least from up until now, was the cool, badass, friendly, family friendly, kind of rock on Aquaman. You take a family to, and now in the show he's like,
depending what movie you're watching.
Well, I'm basing it off like the
His
Whedon
movie?
version of Justice League and his own Aquaman movie. That's the vibe you get. And now in this show, he's like, "No, I don't fuck fish. Stop it." Like, it's okay.
Well, technically, I think he. Well,
Question is he's part fish, right?
he's part Atlantean, so I don't know if you want to consider Atlantean fish. You know
I mean,
what
didn't
I
they
mean?
get pushed into the water? So technically, over time, that wouldn't make them fish. But if
I
they can
guess
breathe underwater,
in theory, you're absolutely right.
okay. Well, we can talk
But
about this for the Aquaman movie when hopefully they discuss
yeah,
fish politics.
yes. Are Atlanteans fish, or are they actually just Atlanteans? They're their own thing. Because you don't think are sharks fish or sharks?
I mean, the question now is, can you fuck a shark?
Well, the point I'm saying is Aquaman technically does fuck fish if you consider Atlanteans fish. So it's technically true. That's why Barry says it's not a rumor. Huh?
See, this is how Aquaman just stops talking to Justice League.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, shit.
Let's get back to the butterflies though, because you're right. They are interesting villains. I wasn't sure how I was gonna feel about like the body snatching thing trope that's been done, but I will say I did like the twist at the end where it's not that they're evil. They're trying to just make our world better. However, it is by force. It's non-consensual, and it does give Peacemaker a good opportunity to like make his own choice. But because first few episodes, I don't know about you, but like I was kind of like iffy on the butterflies being a thing, like because then I got to thinking, well, who on the team is going to get infected? And no one did.
Well, because someone already was.
Well, yeah, but I think I was thinking like hardcore or like vigilante would have been infected. Like they were top two, like maybe.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, how about that relationship between Goth and Peacemaker?
Yeah, it was interesting. It is nice that when Goth did the peace sign, she actually meant it.
True.
But and I guess there's a reason why she went toward the cop and say not to say Peacemaker or vigilante directly, because I guess that she didn't want to.
Because technically, he showed her
Mm-hmm.
kindness when he actually kind of, you could say, kidnapped her instead of killing her.
Well, I think she appreciated when the choice of being killed or kidnapped that she was kidnapped
And fed the entire time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But yeah, I mean, overall, like it's just a really well-made show. I think to kind of like just wrap it up, it's a well-made show with great characters that also isn't afraid to connect itself to like the bigger DCU. Not just talking, Justice League here, but Amanda Waller, while not seen until the very end, and actually a quick shot at the beginning, she plays a heavy role in this show. Like her presence is felt
everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Like people talk about her constantly. Her daughter's in the show. Which kind of then, leads me to my question, Mike, is Scott renewed for season 2? Because it's basically the biggest hit HBO Max has right now.
Yep.
Where do you think they go with this?
Well, that's going to be an interesting one because considering how the show ended, where Amanda Waller's daughter completely flipped on her and exposed the illegal, pretty much Project or Task Force X operation to the public, kind of out of nowhere either. So I could see her being an antagonist because oh no, Peacemaker still does have the bomb in his head. So
yeah, that wasn't removed.
Yeah, and she'd just blow his head up. She wouldn't care. So that's not a vibe.
But do you I mean, a kind of a stupid question. I was going to say, do you think she'd go after her own daughter? The answer is yeah.
Yeah, of course. It's Amanda Waller. Especially, gets her daughter a job, her first one, working for her, and flips the lid on everything. So not exactly an ideal situation
Waller,
for the
maybe
Wall.
she should have gave a little more details to the daughter that, hey, Abadai, yeah, is it like an alien invasion I have you working on? Still love you though. You're going to do great. Like, she gave her daughter no heads up at all about this shit. So I don't really blame her for being a bit pissed.
Yeah, I didn't know she'd have to plant evidence on Peacemaker.
Mm-hmm. lone shooter him.
Yeah, and which pretty much backfired heavily.
Oh yeah.
So, which makes me wonder if they're going to frame Peacemaker for that, like the whole butterfly thing. Was it going to be released to the public at some point? Because she already had a plan to, finger someone.
No, I think the initial idea, well, because if you think about it, they keep making a point that the butterflies took over high figures, and one of the episodes is about a senator and the entire family.
Yeah.
I'm thinking her plan was, complete the mission as normal, but then like when people find out, like I guess one thing you could point to as to like I guess killing a senator, like they didn't really like the public wasn't made aware of it, but I guess the idea is they do the mission, they pin like, oh, Peacemaker killed a U.S. senator, his entire family, and I know 20 other people, butterflies, who mass murderer would do this, and then boom, show the diary as proof. I think that's the point. Like when everything wrapped up, they would just pin it on because you also have to assume they weren't planning on the entire police station getting infected at some point. So you'd have regular normal cops taking this at their word.
Yeah, and it didn't really work out that way, which was an awesome scene too.
It
Basically,
was too. Yeah.
horde of butterflies swarming the police station and basically taking everyone over.
Yeah, that was a standout scene, especially with the music too. James Gunn knows how to.
He does.
Yeah,
Like
he
I
really
said,
does.
this is a very live show, and he had a very interesting selection of music throughout it. So you got to give him props for expanding everyone's horizons.
Yeah, I mean, look, if there's one thing I'm excited for Guardians 3, is his soundtrack at this point.
Yeah, he does always have a killer soundtrack.
He always
I mean,
does.
like I said, he's got a very specific taste of filmmaking.
I mean, there are some
where he
songs
can
in the
work
Suicide
those
Squad I
in.
liked, that are on my playlist. So
Yeah,
the
overall, I'd say
man don't miss.
Peacemaker's. No, he hasn't. Not in a while.
But,
Yeah, Peacemaker is overall a fantastic show.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know about you, Tyler, but I'd highly recommend this.
Oh, it's a recommend for me. Obviously, if you have HBO Max and you're looking for something to watch it. I would even go so far as to say you don't need to be a big superhero person or a superhero fan to like to get the show. They do a nice, quick little recap of Suicide Squad right before you start, so you're more or less caught up. And yeah, I mean, obviously, if you love DC stuff, you should have watched it by now at this point. What if not? What are you doing? Sign up and get it.
Yeah, you need to.
It's worth just pay for a month, binge watch it. It's worth it. Absolutely.
But you're gonna have to re-sign up again for season 2 because
Whenever
you
that
will
comes
be
out.
hooked. You will be hooked. Or keep on the HBO train. There's some cool stuff coming out. I mean, they just put the Kingsman on there. If you don't want to watch something.
You just said cool
So,
stuff.
Yeah, sorry. Just had to throw a pot shot in there. But this isn't about HBO Max, it's about Peacemaker. We want to know your thoughts on Peacemaker. Did you watch the show? What were your favorite moments in it? And if you didn't, go watch it. Let us know what you're thinking. As always, find us on Entertainment Expansion on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.